Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the absolute most powerful, mind-bending mathematical concepts in all of finance: compound interest. It's a calculation that, frankly, should shock you into saving.
You know, there's a reason Albert Einstein reportedly called compounding the eighth wonder of the world. He recognized its sheer world-changing power. He called it mankind's greatest invention because it allows for the reliable, systematic accumulation of wealth. I mean, when a mind like Einstein's tells you something is humanity's greatest invention, you absolutely pay attention. We're not just talking about some dry finance term here. We're talking about the literal fundamental physics of wealth generation. It's a reliable, systematic machine.
So, what exactly is this machine? Well, using a concept from the personal MBA, we can think of compounding as an exponential positive feedback loop. It's like a snowball rolling down a massive hill. At first, it's tiny, but as it rolls, it grabs a little more snow, then that new snow grabs even more snow. In financial terms, your money earns a return. And then, here's the kicker, that return starts earning its own return. Your money is literally out there working for you, clocking in every single day, making more money completely independent of your physical labor. Now, normally, compounding is agonizingly slow, which is exactly why our human brains kind of struggle to grasp it. But let's speed it up to see the magic. Author Andrew Tobias has this brilliant visualization called the cookie jar experiment. Imagine giving a kid $1 in a cookie jar, but you pay them 10% interest every single day instead of every year. Day one, you toss in a dime. Doesn't seem like much, right? But by the end of just 1 month, those numbers absolutely explode. It essentially puts that slow mathematical snowball on fast forward, proving how wild the growth gets once it really builds momentum. Okay, let's bring this back to the real world and see how the math actually builds. Tom Wheelwright breaks this down perfectly. Imagine you take $10,000 and invest it at a 5% interest rate. In year one, you earn $500. Simple enough. But think about year two. You don't just earn another $500. Because you left that first $500 alone in the account, your new total is $10,500. So now, that 5% yields $525. And that extra $25, that right there is the magic. That's your interest earning interest. Over decades, that tiny little extra layer turns into a mountain. And man, that mountain can grow into an absolutely jaw-dropping number: $1,863,287. Seriously. Now you're probably wondering, how on earth do you actually hit a number that massive without earning some crazy high salary? Well, this brings us to an amazing story shared by Tony Robbins about a guy named Joe. Let's walk through exactly how Joe pulled off this financial magic trick. So Joe starts investing just $300 a month when he's 19 years old. He does this for only 8 years, and then he stops completely at age 27. Over his entire life, the total cash that actually came out of Joe's own pocket was a pretty modest $28,800. But check this out. Assuming a 10% annual return, which matches the historic US stock market, Joe retires at age 65 with nearly $2 million. He never added another dime after his 20s. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that time and compound interest did almost all of the heavy lifting for him. If you want a really quick mental model to figure out exactly how fast this exponential growth can work for you, you've got to know the rule of 72. It is incredibly simple. Step 1, take the number 72. Step 2, divide it by your expected annual return rate. And step 3, the result is the number of years it takes for your money to double. So if you're getting that 10% return we just talked about, 72 divided by 10 is 7.2, meaning your money doubles roughly every 7 years. 10 grand becomes 20, then 40, then 80, all without you lifting a finger. But hold on, because this mathematical law works both ways. And this brings us to J.L. Collins's concept of opportunity cost. You see, when you spend money, you aren't just losing that cash today. You are losing what that cash could have earned you tomorrow. Let's say you buy a $25,000 car in cash today. If instead you had invested that money at just an 8% return, over 10 years, it would have grown to almost $54,000. So that car didn't actually cost you 25 grand. It cost you nearly 54 grand. Ouch, right? That is the true hidden cost of spending over investing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, fine, I just won't buy the car. I'll put my money in a nice, safe bank account. But Ramit Sethi points out a silent villain that actually makes mere saving a guaranteed losing strategy. And that villain is inflation. Think about it. If your savings account is only earning 1 or 2%, but the cost of groceries, housing, and just everyday life is rising by 3% or more, your money is secretly shrinking. You are literally losing purchasing power every single day. saving alone is fundamentally just not enough. Let's actually put this stark reality into perspective for a second. If you stash away $3,000 a year for 20 years in a standard 1% savings account, you're going to end up with just under $50,000. But if you invest that exact same $3,000 at an 8% return, it balloons to over $100,000. It is literally more than double the money for the exact same amount of effort. If you aren't actively outpacing inflation through compounding investments, your money is just slowly melting away. But all right, let's shift gears for a second and look at this completely impartially, because not everyone agrees that this traditional path is totally flawless. Author M.J. DeMarco offers a really fascinating dissenting perspective on this whole standard index investing approach. He poses a pretty bold question. Is relying on compound interest actually just a 40-year gamble? It's really important we understand the math from all angles here, including where it might have some weak spots. DeMarco challenges the standard model by using the concept of a penny doubling. Look, if you double a penny every year, those early years are agonizingly slow. From age 21 to 31, you only reach about $10. The real wealth? It doesn't actually happen until the very end, in those final few years. He argues that the actual wealth from compounding is heavily backloaded. It acts kind of like a massive tidal wave far out to sea. You can't even feel its power until decades have passed. So he asks, is there a way to somehow bypass this 30-year wait? And DeMarco's critique relies on a totally valid mathematical counterperspective. The equation for compounding depends on two main variables, time and market yield. And the big problem? You can't control either of them. You can't force the stock market to give you a 10% yield every year. What if the market drops 40% right before you plan to retire? Because you can't leverage time or magically control the market yield, DeMarco argues that traditional compounding leaves your financial freedom vulnerable to deficient variables and massive market risks. So whether you view compounding as a guaranteed financial miracle or as a long-term risk, the fundamental requirement to make any of it work remains exactly the same: your personal behavior. James Clear's concept of atomic habits perfectly parallels this financial math. Just like wealth, personal growth requires small, consistent habits that compound over a lifetime. The math of compound interest only works if you actually have the behavioral foundation to consistently save and invest day after day, year after year. And really, this brings us to the deep psychological reality of wealth building. As Morgan Housel so wisely puts it, compounding works best when you can give a plan years or decades to grow. Endurance is key. It's not just about finding the absolute best interest rate. It's about building a life where you have moderate savings, manageable expenses, and the mental endurance to just leave your investments alone for decades. The math itself is easy. Having the patience and the balance to let it work, well, that's the true challenge. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to chew on today. Take a real look at your own accounts. Are you actively building an exponential snowball that will work for you while you sleep? Or are you just sitting on cash, letting inflation slowly melt your money away? The math is absolutely undeniable, and the choice is yours. Thank you for joining me, and I highly encourage you to start putting this incredible mathematical law to work in your own life.